Hi everybody, my name is Mike Warner. I'm the 4th and 5th grade large group teacher at Hope Lutheran Church. Hope Lutheran Church is in Rochester, New York. Actually, it's in Greece, New York, but we're not going to quibble about that. Hey kids, we are starting to get ready. Church reopened 2 weeks ago on a limited basis, and hopefully, maybe toward the end of September, maybe, we're going to open Sunday school back up. Now, the cool thing is, my 4th and 5th graders, we're going to reopen 4th and 5th grade first. So start looking forward to that. Maybe around the end of September, we'll see how school goes and how we're going to play that. But looks like Sunday school will be reopening. I'm going to warn you, it's not like it was last year. Everything is going to be different. Everything is going to be different. First off, we're in brand new digs. And second off, because of the virus, we got a whole lot of other restrictions. You'll hear more about that later. Today we got a great story. In the springtime, there is a Jewish festival called the Festival of Purim. And Purim celebrates the when Queen Esther saved her people. And you're going to find this in the book of, what's the book? Esther, that's right. You're going to find this in the book of Esther. And again, it's all about the... You're good. I'm good? Okay. This is my videographer here. She's messing with the camera. Yeah. This is what happens when you don't pay your hired help. But this is all about how the Jews were almost killed in Persia. And I'm going to go over the beginning of the story real quick so we can get to the part of the story we need to know. And we're talking about brave this month, and this is Queen Esther. My girls in my class are always telling me, Mr. Warner, why aren't there girl heroes in the Bible? And there should be, and there are. Queen Esther is probably one of the biggest girl heroes in the entire Bible because she saved her people. So, the king got mad at his queen, and he kicked her out of the palace, kicked her to the curb, and he sent out a thing that said to everybody in the kingdom, all the girls can apply to be the new queen. Sorry. And Esther was the one who won the contest, and she became the new queen of Persia. And the one thing she didn't tell her husband, the king, was, I'm Jewish. No need to tell him that. Let's keep that quiet, okay? And so they're going along pretty well until there's this guy. Now, this is what happens during Purim. The storyteller is telling the story of Purim and Queen Esther, and every so often you run up against the bad guy in the story. The bad guy in the story, his name is Haman. And that's what all the kids do when the story is being told. Okay, so Haman didn't like the Jewish people. He didn't like Mordecai, who was Queen Esther's uncle, and he didn't like the Jewish people. So he came up with this law, and the law said, kill all the Jewish people. Wow. Man, that's harsh. And he got the king to sign it. King didn't know what he was signing. He just signs all this sort of stuff to put in front of him there, and he signs this up. And so Esther finds out about it, and Esther worked it so that all of a sudden, they're at this festival, this kind of dinner, and Haman's invited to it, and she tells her husband, she goes, by the way, did you know that Haman has put this law into effect to kill all the Jewish people? And her husband, the king, says, yeah, so what? And she says to her husband, the king, she goes, by the way, honey, I'm Jewish. And he goes, what? And she goes, yeah, huh? So he's going to kill me too. And the king says, who's going to kill you? And she goes, Haman. Wow. My group's a little slow on the uptake here. And the king says, well, I can't, I just can't take back something I put into law. So by this time, he had Haman killed because he did all this bad stuff. But the Jewish people are still in danger. So Uncle Mordecai and Esther, they put their heads together. And they say, okay, how do we get around this? Because in about 10 days, anybody who wants to is going to be able to kill anybody that's Jewish in the kingdom. Anybody. And our people are going to be unaware. What are we going to do? So the king says, I got an idea. And Mordecai says, I got an idea too. And they put their heads together. And they sent out this piece of paper to every village in the kingdom of Persia. And it says, if you're Jewish, you are allowed to defend yourself. Because they weren't up to that point. You can defend yourself. And the and the king took his signet ring and he put it in wax. And it says, the king says this is okay to do. So it went out to the entire kingdom. So when the day came, the people said, oh, good, we can attack the Jews and kill them all. The Jews were waiting for them. And the Jews fought back, and none of them were killed. Saved the entire Jewish nation that lived in Persia at that time, and there were an awful lot of them. And who was it by? Well, it wasn't really by the king, and it wasn't really by Mordecai, and it definitely wasn't by Haman.
Boo!
It was by Queen Esther.
Yay!
Queen Esther was a very, very brave woman. She was a very, very brave Jew. And she did what God wanted her to do. Even Mordecai said, God has put you in this place for our people at this time. Keep in mind, you can go and you can read the book of Esther. It's a really good book. It is the biggest girl hero in the entire Bible. In my opinion, it's well worth reading. Very adventurous book too. And this next month, we will be getting into more stuff. September, maybe at the end of September, maybe I'll be seeing you at church in our new area with our new auditorium and our new everything else. I really hope so. Until then, you guys are in my prayers, and we'll see you next week.